yourself.
12 News at 10 starts right now. It was a truly bittersweet night for hockey fans across Arizona, with the Coyotes taking the ice for what was likely their final game in the Valley. Good evening, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us for 12 News at 10. I'm Kariva Devine.
It is really a sad night. It's been a whirlwind of emotions for Coyotes fans over the last couple of weeks, for people that have followed the team, covered the team. Sources telling 12 News that a sale and a move to Salt Lake City will be finalized soon. 12 Sports journalist Cameron Cox is live at the Mullet tonight. And Cam, I, like many fans, it's not so much that the franchise is leaving, it's that all of us as fans have memories attached to this team.
Mark, you couldn't have said it any better. That's my biggest takeaway from tonight, is walking throughout this entire building, stopping, listening, the stories, the generations, the people that this team has really affected. Is truly just incredible just to listen to the impact hockey has had on this desert. It belongs here. Unfortunately, the Coyotes will not be here after tonight. They do end up winning tonight. They get one last howl out before the team moves to Salt Lake City. Let me step out of the way so you can see what's going on behind me. Folks just don't want to go home here at Mullet Arena. Fans still filling the seats. 20 minutes after the game is over, the team giving out things on the ice. As you can tell, it's that kind of a night. It was an emotional night, emotional scene throughout the entire game tonight. Early on in the game, it truthfully felt like a funeral at times, especially before the game. You could just see it on the faces of the players, the coaches, and the fans. Later on in the game, you got some Salt Lake City chants, Salt Lake City sucks chants throughout the entire arena. Then, of course, the end of the game, the hugs, the emotions, the hugs for people who've been here a long time, like equipment manager Stan Wilson. It was truly a sight to see at the end. We also got a chance to catch up with the legend, Coyotes captain Shane Doan. Remember, his son plays for the Yotes. Tonight was just crazy for Donor.
I think you run through all kinds of emotions because there's an element of grieving it. And so when you're grieving it, you got anger, you're sad. I'm excited for Josh. I told him when we were talking about it, you know what, this is exactly what happened with me leaving Winnipeg. It was sad and it was hard to leave Winnipeg. We came here, started a whole new life, never dreamed I'd be in Arizona. He's a fan of the Coyotes, so he's heartbroken because it's been his favorite team since, his whole life. So that's hard.
And speaking of Donor, before the game, a fan gave Shane his jersey retirement banner. Remember that big 19 that used to hang out there in Glendale that they retired a few years ago? Well, the Yotes had left it behind at Gila River Arena when they moved out. It would have likely ended up in the trash if this fan did not save it. Cool moment, giving it to Donor tonight. Speaking of the fans, Luke Liddon in the arena with more.
So whether we like it or not, everyone inside Mullet Arena was a part of history tonight as the Yotes likely played their very last game here in Arizona. All the fans, as you'd imagine, a mixed bag of emotions. But tonight wasn't about looking into the future. It was about enjoying one final hockey game here in the desert. Coyotes fandom every which way you look outside Mullet Arena as the Yotes faithful lined up for what is likely the final game in Arizona.
It's the first team I fell in love with, really fell in love with.
Some fans happy for the ride.
Being here for the last game is kind of sad, but at least I'm here to experience part of history.
While others still working through the emotions.
Just sad, really. It hasn't hit me yet, but as a longtime season ticket member, it's really just sad. It's really heartbreaking. It's devastating. Didn't expect this. This kind of came out of nowhere.
Yet the common theme from every fan we talked to, their love for the game and the evident growth of the sport, all thanks to the Yotes themselves.
We got to know the team in Glendale, went to a lot of games, and I just fell in love with hockey. And I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss it.
It's a fan base that's been here through thick and thin, and you can't call this fair weather, that's for sure. We're here to the bitter end.
Little weird, isn't it, seeing those Coyotes fans leave Mullet Arena thinking they'll be back here next year for some Yotes hockey, but unfortunately, the harsh reality, very likely the last time they heard those howls fill up the arena. Over to you.
Thanks a lot, Luke. Coyote players still on the ice right now saying thank you to fans. We'll have much more from the Yotes. Reaction from the players and coaches coming up in sports. Guys, back to you.
All right, Cam, thanks. Turning now to our ongoing coverage of abortion rights in Arizona. An 1864 near total ban of abortion was the focus of discussion today at the state capitol, with House Republicans blocking the repeal of the Civil War-era ban.
It is the second time that it's happened after the state Supreme Court ruled that the 1864 ban was the prevailing law last week. Today's repeal efforts by Democrats started with lawmakers trying to bring a repeal vote to the floor. House Republicans refused to take up the vote, with Representative Matt Gress being the only Republican to cross party lines and support a repeal vote. So what happens next? Well, there is another avenue for repeal that developed late this afternoon when two Republicans joined Senate Democrats in the effort to introduce a bill. However, that has an uncertain future. Republicans could also fight against a ballot initiative that would leave the decision up to voters looking to protect legislatures' ability to regulate abortion.
Be sure and stay with 12 News as we continue to follow the latest developments on Arizona's abortion law here on 12 News. And stay with 12news.com for the latest updates. It's been 1 year since a Valley woman was brutally murdered. 22-year-old Mercedes Vega was last seen leaving her Tempe apartment complex. Hours later, her body was found inside a burning car on I-10 near Tonopah. But this story gets even worse. The medical examiner's report revealed that Vega was tortured before she was killed. Despite the gruesome nature of her death, her loved ones still hope and pray for answers and justice. 12 News journalist Bianca Bono has more on how they marked this somber anniversary.
Mercedes Vega's family and friends marched from Hance Park and ended here, hoping to send a message to investigators inside this building that they're demanding answers. Mercedes Vega! 1 year ago today, 22-year-old Mercedes Vega's loved ones never thought they'd be here.
I miss my daughter so much. I'm angry. I'm frustrated.
The night of April 16th, 2023, surveillance footage shows Vega leaving her Tempe apartment for the last time. Officials say she was going to work and had abruptly canceled personal plans. Early on April 17th, as her car was found parked illegally near Mill Avenue, Vega was found dead inside the back seat of a burning car on the I-10 near Tonopah. Vega had bleach in her throat. She was shot in the arm and had blunt force trauma to her head.
Someone who can do something like that to a 22-year-old beautiful young woman is less than human.
The violent nature of her death making it even harder to stomach that 1 year later, the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office has not publicly identified any suspects and no arrests have been made. Mercedes Vega! On the anniversary of Vega's death, her parents and loved ones marching in her memory. Justice! Justice! Ending in front of MCSO headquarters.
If you can't solve something after a year, you should step up and say, you know what, I need to get every organization that's involved in helping us. That is why we're here.
Sheriff Russ Skinner releasing a statement saying in part, "I am shook and outraged by the senseless murder of Mercedes Vega. Our homicide detectives are continually collaborating with local and federal agencies to pursue justice." And on Tuesday night, MCSO releasing some new information, saying they discovered video surveillance of Vega's car being left in Tempe, and they've executed search warrants on numerous accounts and devices. But for Vega's heartbroken loved ones, that's not enough.
This is insane. A monster did this, and she just did not deserve this. She deserves justice.
Knowing that such a bright light was taken, it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense.
As family and friends pause to remember who Mercedes was,
one of the most loyal and loving people I've ever met.
They're vowing not to give up this fight until there are arrests and justice is served.
We're going to fight to the end of our lives for her.
And if you have any information about this case or what may have happened to Mercedes Vega, you're urged to contact either MCSO or Silent Witness. Silent Witness is offering a $2,000 reward. We're in Phoenix. Bianca Bono, 12 News.
Bianca, thanks. Developing tonight in Tucson, police are investigating after an off-duty officer shot a man. It happened just before 3 o'clock this afternoon when that officer was at an apartment complex and heard calls for help. When he went to see what was happening, he saw a man with 2 knives. Police say the man started advancing towards the officer while holding the knives, and that's when the officer shot the man. He was taken to a hospital with serious injuries. Officials now investigating the incident, including whether or not this off-duty officer violated policy.
Now to an update to a story that we first brought you on Monday. The community is rallying behind a Valley dog rescue after the founders fell victim to a tricky scam. Ashley Kasdorf runs the Barking Lot Dog Rescue with 3 of her friends, and they were scammed when trying to buy a trailer for the nonprofit on Facebook. There was little hope that they would get any of their money back, but tonight Ashley tells us that they received over $1,500 in donations from people who heard about what happened. A man who dealt with a similar scam also donated a trailer for the nonprofit to use. Ashley tells us that she is absolutely blown away by the generosity. Well, as temperatures begin to heat up, car care experts say that now is the perfect time to get ready for the blistering Arizona heat. 12 News journalist Jonathan McCall is here tonight with the small things, Jonathan, that could quickly turn into some big and very dangerous things if they're not dealt with.
That's right. You know what? We see them and sometimes we put them off thinking, yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later. But experts say that could actually lead to bigger problems. They say check everything under the hood to even inside of your car, but it's your tires that experts say you want to pay the most attention to when getting behind the wheel. With another scorching, blistering Arizona summer upon us, mechanics at Inman Auto are busy making sure your ride can keep up as well. Owner Jeff Inman says now is the best time to get your ride ready for what's to come. He says make sure your car has proper fluid levels of coolant and water. Next, he says check the conditions of anything made of rubber, especially hoses. But most importantly, tires. Inman says too much direct sunlight on tires can cause what's known as dry rot. He says if you happen to park your car outside, he says do so where the sun doesn't directly hit your tires every day.
The cracks on the sidewalls, they'll actually get cracks in between the tread, and that can cause some excessive tire problems, not necessarily wear, but that tire will dry out and it has a potential maybe coming apart.
The combination of a weakened tire added with hot asphalt can cause tire treads to come apart, causing blowout crashes which can be deadly. Around this time of year, drivers can typically see strips of rubber on the highway, indicating that tires may have come apart. But in order to get your car running, your battery needs to work. Inman says if you've gone more than 2 years on the same one, you'll definitely need another soon.
But there's about a 2 to 3 year shelf life on most of the batteries here in the valley.
All right, something else to be mindful of. If your windshield has even the smallest of cracks and you haven't had it fixed yet, you may need it to get replaced soon. That's because that intense heat can cause that windshield, that crack to spread, eventually shattering it all. And officials say that is something else, another danger that you want to take care of before getting behind the wheel. Jonathan McCall, 12 News.
All right, great tips, Jonathan. I will be checking on my battery ASAP.
Sure you will.
I know I will. I can hear some weird noise already.